evening, good evening, good evening. I am so excited to be back today. I know some of you thought that I had bailed, that I was gone, that I wasn't coming back, but oh, no, 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 no. You're not getting off that easy. I happened to be out of town last week celebrating my niece's 50th surprise birthday party. And oh my goodness, was she surprised? Yes. But I didn't really know what to do. Now that this is still new to me, I'm still learning. But I have ordered a book I'm hoping will help me get a better grip on how to handle this thing. So I was planning on doing a video in advance to post. I didn't get that done. And I was hoping I would get back late Sunday, which I did, and that I would jump on and post something on around 8:30, and I didn't get that done. But here we are this week, and I am so excited again to be here with you. And if this is your first time tuning in, this is Victoria with Positivity in Motion, where I try and share a tidbit on Sunday to help kickstart us off to a fantastic week being positive for ourselves and hopefully communicating that to others around us. So this week, Scovel Shinn is exploring in the chapter the law of karma and the law of forgiveness. But I won't be covering forgiveness as much this week. I might tackle that next week. And basically, what she's saying in her premise is that man receives only that which he gives. Man receives, we receive only that which we give. That in the game of life is like a boomerang. Everything returns to us sooner or later with outstanding accuracy. So we're going to be talking about karma. I know for myself, I can vividly remember things that I done unintentional, that I was not intending to hurt anyone at the same time that affected other people that boomerang back to me. And interesting enough, when it came back, I recognized it as such. I could say, oh, yeah, that was karma. And in some of the cases, it was the exact same situation. For example, early on, even before I really took notice to karma and that what we give comes back to us, I can vividly remember someone came to visit me when I was younger. I think maybe I was in high school, so that would be much, much younger. And he had a crush on me, but I didn't even know he existed. He popped up at my house. My sister was there. So I invited him in, and he came in, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up playing table tennis with the floral arrangement on the table and calling someone else's name that I had a crush on. Lo and behold, he did not come back. But several years later, that incident happened to me. And I said to myself, did he just call me Sally? And then I said, remember you call so and so that name? It's karma, people. Whether you believe it or not, it's karma. So I took a little extra time this week and I went in and looked up the definition of karma. And according to what's written, it states that it is the consequences of all of our actions, all of a person's action. And they can be verbal, mental, physical, and I'm adding financial. And that karma is not only determined by the act itself, but also by the intention behind what's being done. Now let's get in motion. So if we think about karma, and it is that what we put out into the world comes back to us, we ought to be very, very careful about where we are putting our energy. What we are mentally, verbally, physically, financially, emotionally thinking and doing matters. Now, we talked about in other sessions that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, one thing I want to point out here, because that's scripture that's written in the Bible, as well as some other places, I'm sure. But I want to point this out. I don't want anyone thinking, oh, that's for you Christians, that karma thing. Oh no, I don't support that. That's not for me. That is a universal law. And I don't care what practice you're in or what you study, that's on the good side. Now, some people study some stuff that may not be as favorable, but I'm talking about positivity. This is a positive channel. Everything that you read talks about karma, that as we give, we get back. So I don't want you thinking this is a spiritual thing. This is just something for Christians or spiritualists or this type of person or that type of person, because this is a universal law. As you give, you're going to get back. As a man thinketh, so is he. So it is very important that we think and speak and spend our time giving positive thoughts, because karma is coming back, whether your act is intentional or not. And it is not always determined by the act only. So when you step, you need to step with care. Now, she also shares a statement, which I thought was profound. She shares that a man, and when I say man, I use that generally. It can be woman, it can be person, it can be anyone. But in her case, she said man sees first his failures or success, his joy or sorrow, before it swings into visibility from the scene set in his own imagination. So remember, we shared that karma can be mental, it can be physical, emotional, or financial. So thoughts are important, and it starts here. We've talked about that before. My premise is on the imaging faculty, and that is so important that we switch our imaging factor from one that may be negative to one that is positive. And that's not going to be done overnight. It's going to take time. So I do hope that you are finding time throughout your week, every day, to sit down, do your meditations, do your affirmations, to show gratitude to the Supreme, to the universe, and support that you understand that it all starts here. It all starts inside. It's not out here. It starts inside. And we have to show that gratitude that says, thank you. Thank you, divine. I know that you are working with me. You are working on me. And I will be out of this situation sooner than later. Because remember, karma says what you sow, you're going to get back. So if you're sowing disbelief and doubt and negativity and think you're going to get back positivity, even on our worst days, that's not going to happen. So we have to sow and show positivity. Now, I understand and I know there are horrible things that happen to us on this side of life. I do not want anyone to think that I am in any way negating that. What I'm saying, though, is even in those times, we have to be careful that we don't get stuck in a rabbit hole that just keeps spiraling and spiraling downward. That we have to reach deep, deep, deep sometimes, and we have to see the pearl and wherever we are and give thanks to the Supreme, because He hears us. And remember, our subconscious mind is working without direction. It is going to work hard to make our thoughts, our desires, whatever we're putting out, whatever we're putting our thoughts to, come true. So this week, the challenge relating to karma is we have to focus and accentuate the positive. We have to go inside and look for that. Now, remember, we are being prepared by the divine, and the divine's time is not ours. Does not think as we do, is no way like us. As far as the east is from the west, so are our thoughts. So we may not see immediately what it is that we're desiring, but what we are visualizing in our imaging faculty, where we are spending our focus on, is what is going to be produced and what we're going to signal out with our vibration to the divine, to the universe, and our karma. So we want that to be positive, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, financial. We want to send out positivity and gratitude. And that is what is going to boomerang back to us. So we don't just see a weakness, but if we are weak, we have to own that. We have to say to the supreme, to the divine, that I am not seeing it now. Help me in my weakness. But I am going forth in belief that this is going to happen. And we send our vibrations out towards that positivity, representing ourselves as though we have already received the blessing. Because the universe already know, and we already know internally. That's why it's so important that we redirect our imaging faculty. You can't trick it. You can't say, oh, I'm going to ace this test and don't study. You can't say, I'm going to earn $1 million, but deep down inside, your conscious mind is saying, girl, you know good and well that's not going to happen. You have to believe that. You have to believe that and know that in due time, you will reap if you do not faint. Now, Florence Scovel Shinn is a metaphysicist, and she shared this statement also, which I thought was profound. In the reading this week on karma and forgiveness, she has in there, I put the situation in the hands of infinite love and wisdom. If this is the divine's plan, I bless it and no longer resist. But if it is not divinely planned, I give thanks that it is now dissolved and dissipated. And remember, we talked about the law of non-resistance a couple of sessions ago, and that there are not two laws. There is no good or bad. When we have non-resistance, we understand that everything works in our favor when the divine is in the picture. And that is scripture. Now, remember, we are not our past. We are the present and becoming the future. We already have the law of non-resistance, and we have to understand that there is only good that occurs in life for us. We have to see that glimmer of hope. We have to retrain our subconscious mind to work towards those things that we know within our heart that we desire, and that will have a boomerang effect back to us. Can't think negative and expect something positive. We have to change our imaging faculty. Now, God's infinite intelligence is going to come through, and remember that our supply is inexhaustible and unfailing when we fully trust and have faith and believe. Remember, faith holds the vision steady, and the adverse picture can be dissolved and dissipated. And in due season, we shall reap if we do not faint. Remember, our subconscious mind is being the supplier of power without direction, carry out our orders without questioning. So be very careful where you're focusing your time, your energy, your spirit, your mind, because that is what will attract. Sad but true. The thing that we fear most is where we will place the most influence on, and the universe will reward us accordingly. Remember, karma is not just what we do, it is the intention behind what we do. So we have to think positive and replace negativity with positivity. And on our worst days, think and act in positivity. I hope you wake up every day this week knowing that you can create something beautiful, something amazing on this day, something specifically directed and designed that only you can do. Have a fantastic week. I'll see you next week. Positivity and Motion signing out.